let's get this fact straight as our foundational knowledge. Linux is the basis of several free operating systems powered by open source technology and available in rich variants for download on the internet. It has successfully rivaled closed source operating systems such as Microsoft and Apple OS, which are very expensive to buy and maintain. Examples of Linux-based systems are Ubuntu, CentOS, or CentOS as you would want to put it, or might put it, Fedora, Ubuntu, Arch Linux, Debian, GNU, etc. They are all based on Linux kernel, which welds them together as very useful and powerful open source platform. Now, let's talk about the financial perspective. Extremely cheap to install and maintain. All over the world, several small, medium, and large enterprises have developed or adopted Linux operating systems since it's very cost effective. Now, let's talk about the internal process perspective. GNU is one of the bundles that Linux operating systems comes with, which contains several useful desktops for writing and publishing calculations, presentations, drawings, just to mention a few, rather than procuring them separately. Now, let's move to the customer perspective. Well community maintained and updated, it's very well competes and in most occasions outperforms closed source operating systems. Learning group perspective. Linux is also the basis for Android operating system, which makes it the reason why the mobile operating system is free and is being maintained by Google. Google, as a little compensation for its time in maintaining the mobile OS, uses the platform to market its products. Okay, so now here is the Linux variations in a single chart. You have the operating systems, the Linux kernels, then of course you have Ubuntu, Red Hat, Debian, Fedora, Arch, POPIP, OpenSUSE, Black Lab, Slackware, flavors and the like. Now, Netrunner, Slacker, POS, Mageia, PC Linux OS, Zorin, Boson Labs, Kubuntu, Majuro, Budi, Leptune, Kali, Solos variants, and so on and so forth. There's also, of course, the Kali Linux. Okay, now these are like just a short overview of the Linux variants and the flavor perspectives. You have the Debian Fedora. Debian is a Linux-based free operating system powered by Linux. It ships with over 45,000 software packages. Alternatively, Fedora is a Linux-based, of course, it's Linux-based with workstation, server, and atomic configurations separately. Linux makes it one of the most beautiful, sleek, attractive, elegant, and strong variants of Linux-based operating systems. Ubuntu is one of the most popular, tried and tested Linux-based operating systems that handles Kubernetes, OpenStack, cloud computing, Internet of Things, lots software developer-friendly features. CentOS. This is a community-driven open source Linux-based operating systems that provides OS images for Google, Amazon, and a whole bunch of others. Okay, so now let's just click on the first option there, which leads us to the official website, and then we see how we can download the specific version we're looking for. Okay, so this is the official website of OpenSuse, and you can see we have Tumbleweed. It says get the latest Linux packages with our rolling release, fast, integrated, stabilized, trusted. Okay, today we're looking at the Leap, the Install Leap. If you click that, it lands you. It says new and experienced Linux users get the most stable Linux distribution and stabilized operating system with OpenSuse regular release. Receive updates harden your OS with OpenSUSE latest major distribution. Pick your desktop, configure your system, and enjoy the platform of choice from Linux developers, administrators, and software vendors. So then of course you have some other information here, the OpenSUSE tools, the news, and of course so much more. So let's just look at how we can install OpenSUSE Leap. Okay, so this is OpenSUSE Leap. It says a brand new way of building OpenSUSE and a new type of hybrid Linux distribution. Leap uses open source from SUSE Linux Enterprise, which gives Leap a level of stability unmatched by other Linux distributions, and combines that with community development to give users, developers, and system administrators the best stable Linux experience available. So let's go to the download tab. You have a lot of types here. You can easily download Intel or AMD 64-bit desktops, laptops, and servers. And you also have UEFI ARM servers, desktop, and laptop boards. We're going to be sticking with this, and make sure you pick one of these images. Now for this, you have meta link. You have to pick a mirror, check some torrent file. You can actually pick a mirror and download to it, or if you know you have a torrent client on your system, just simply download this. Okay, this is for the updated offline image. The same thing goes for this, and of course this as well. Now this is another type you can look at, Core PC servers, but this one is for servers, and then this one is for IBM Z systems and Linux One. All right. So then you can also check out the alternative downloads. These are the alternative downloads we have. These alternative downloads have different easy ways to access the Linux operating system. Now, another important thing I should bring your attention to before we go on is the system requirements. These are the system requirements for this OpenSUSE version. We have 2 GHz of dual core processor or better, 2 GB physical RAM of memory for your workload, over 40 GB of free hard disk space, either a DVD or USB port for installation media. Internet access is helpful and required for network installer. Alright, so you can also verify your download before use. So right now let's just stick to this offline image. Then if you want to pick this pick a mirror, this will lead you to this landing page where you can actually get mirrors. Mirrors are actually locations where you can download specific files that are stored. Okay, you can see that this is a mirror. This one is saying OpenSUSE mirror liquidtelecom.com, mirror OpenSUSE NG. So many locations you can actually get these things from. You can see that now I clicked on the first one and we have this already downloading. This is the build 15.4. It's the moment you click on this, it will definitely begin the download process. So let's see how we're going to install OpenSUSE Leap 15.4. So like I always say in the previous videos and also in this, ensure after burning the ISO file downloaded from the official website from the specific Linux in question, ensure that you set your bootable drive while the system is restarted to the removable drive, so that the operating system installer files can proceed the installation process from there. In this case, this is a Dell system, and you simply punched the F12 key to bring up the boot key, the bootable drives. Okay, so this is a sequence. This is the startup of the system. It's loading from the USB. You can see the list of options we have here. We have the boot from hard drive or hard disk, installation, upgrade, and of course, so on and so forth. We're actually going for the second option, installation option. You see there we have the rescue, we have the boot, we have the check, we have the memory test. Press the escape key to go back to the previous menu, and you select the second option to begin the installation. These ones are actually used for other things, so I'm coming to that later on. So the second option is what we want to target and execute. So you can see the Linux kernel is being loaded now from the disk. These algorithms are video algorithms that run, sequences that run when you're about to install Linux operating system. In this case, the OpenSuse Leap 15.4 March-April 2023 release version. So it's about to start up now. Let's just be patient and tag along. You can see OpenSuse Leap 15.4 at the lower corner, right lower corner there, towards where the progress bar is loading to. So the system is initializing now, and then the installation is about to begin. Okay, so now this is the end user license agreement. Of course, after going through it, ensure that you accept and proceed to the next stage. My apologies for the shaky nature of this recording. In the future, I hope to improve on the quality of production with your support. Now that is the network. Usually the network settings should be left alone. You might not be able to do that comprehensively at this stage, not until after the installation is done. So now this is a system rule. It's saying system rules are the defined use cases which tailor the system for the selected scenario. Now, in the selected scenario, you can only choose one scenario in all these cases, and I would recommend the second option then, which is the desktop with Genome. Alright, the other ones are not as comprehensive as that very one. So ensure you select the desktop with Genome. Alright, so now this is one of the most critical areas of the installation process. Alright, you're seeing the initial layout is proposed. There's a default proposal being given by the OS. Intelligently it's being given. Alright, so you can see that it's proposing deletion of all that and just creating three partitions here. The partition disk with BRFS and then 10 sub-volume actions. Alright, so what we're going to do is that at the middle, the lower middle screen, you see guided test setup there. Then you can see expert practitioner. When you drop down the box there at the expert partitioner, you're going to see the options you're supposed to go with. You can see that by saying start with current proposal, which is the one at the top there. Then it's also saying start with existing partition. Okay, the current proposal is the one at the top there, which is suggested partitioning. So the other one is start with the existing partition. The existing is the one that is on the system at the moment. We have two different things. You should not know the difference between these two things. It's very important. So we are selecting the start with existing partitions. Alright, we don't want to go with the suggestion of the one, the label that we're seeing up there, just below the suggested partition. Those are the two options in the expert practitioner. So ensure the second one is checked versus the manual. That's equivalent to the manual. Alright, so this is the existing partition table. We have SDA1 and SDA2. Alright, I can see the boot block there, the home, the OPT, the root, the server, the temp, and the user local, as well as the variable, the var files folder. Then we also have SDA2, the SDA3 and 6 respectively, having 55 gigabytes and 18.63 gigabytes. Alright. Up there you can see the 93.13 gigabyte there. And also the permanent partition, the existing permanent partition. So what we're going to do is I'm going to delete all these things and try to repartition everything from the scratch again. Ensure you select, then you click on delete. Yes, and the option comes with this YAST you're seeing there. YAST is I'm going to talk about that briefly now. Select that as well and you delete. Now YAST is a program that's actually related to OpenSuse. It's an embedded program that is supervisory. Let me just read the short form of putting that. It is supervisory program that houses operational guidelines or supervisory role for modifying OpenSuse Linux kernel and so on and so forth. Just take note of that. Now we are still deleting, we're not doing deletion, we're going to delete every partition there. So we are gradually approaching the beginning of the partition. Now we've totally freed 149.05 gigabytes, and that's what we're going to work on with. Now that fat partition you're seeing there is the USB drive that we're using as our installation media. So you don't have to touch that. Just leave that as it is. So we now start by clicking the free space and clicking add partition. Now in this option, well, that brings us to this option. The option will ensure you choose the primary partition. Now here is where you enter the space. The default there is the maximum, but we're going to select the custom size and enter about 80 gigabytes there for the allocation. When you click next, you're going to see the role. You have the operating system, you have the data and ISV applications, you have the swap, the EFI, the partition, the raw volume. What we're going to select here is the operating system, because the highest allocation should go for the operating system. Now this is another very important aspect. The formatting options. Alright, the file system. In the previous Linux tutorials that I've done, I talked about the ext4. For this one, the most popular that is being used is the BRFS. It's just like the X4. I think this one is more secure compared to the ext4. Alright, so I'm going to stick with the BRFS. And then the mount point. The mount point should be the root. That's the /. Of course, the partition ID should be Linux. Encryption. Now, for the encryption, you are free to select that option. If you select it, then you will supply a consistent password that you will always remember, because when the system completes its installation, it's going to request for that. Yes, so since I checked that option now, All I'm going to do now is I'm going to enter a password that I can easily remember. And this feature is important because so that your unauthorized or alteration will not be done on the system without the administrator notice or being informed. It also words of hackers, those of programs that fly over the internet that want to read and write your primary hard drive. Okay, so we've done the first stage, the primary. You can see that we allocated 80 gigabytes to it. So the next thing we're going to move on to is the extended partition. We tend to give that about 10 gigabytes. So ensure you select the topmost as the SDA, then we create add partition. So here we make this the extended partition now. Click on next, then we give it a space, we give it an allocation of about 10 gig because we still have 69.04 gigabyte here. So we've allocated 10 gigabyte to this. Okay, so we still have space there for use, so we ensure that select that. Now over here we are seeing an information from YAST. YAST is giving a sort of breakdown of what this partition is. The one we just created, the extended partition. Alright, it's just giving us a bit of information about it, the way it is mounted, the size, the encryption, properties and all that. Now the file system to non-point and all that, the device ID has the hard drive specification there that is on the system. So we add partition again, and now we call this, we've done the logical, we've done the extended. Now this is the logical. Extended is a form of logical. So now this is the real logical partition we're about to create, and over here we're going to give you the space of like 1.9 gigabytes. Before we do that, ensure you select the custom size, not the maximum size. Then we still have other partitions to allocate. So here we're just going to give this 1.99 gigabytes of hard disk space. Leave the rest of the same, don't touch that. So here we're going to rename these, we're going to do these the swap, yes. You can see that now. Now, which brings up to this next stage. This stage uses similar scenery of what we saw when we created the primary drive. So the format device file system is swap. Then the mount device or the mount option or mount point swap, of course. The partition ID, as you can see, there is Linux swap. Yeah, Linux swap. And then you just click on next. We're done with this area. You can encrypt as well. But when you click the encrypt, you have to still supply password. I would suggest that if you're creating multiple passwords, ensure the multiple passwords are uniform, they are the same. So when you write them down somewhere, it should be the same, but you don't have to be typing different passwords for different partition drives. This is a very helpful hint, tip, as you would put it. Okay, the password didn't match, you have to rewrite the password so it will match. Alright, so far so good. We've been able to allocate 80 gigabytes for the primary, then 10 gigabytes for the extended, then 1.99 gigabyte for the logical swap. So our next stop is going to be for another logical drive, but this time around we're going to allocate another as a custom, and a customizing manner. We're going to allocate one. Alright, let's just say 4 gigabytes. Yes, and then this is going to be the EFI. Yes, so this is our EFI. EFI is very useful for Linux because it's always in a fat, it holds a fat format, as you can see here. See, it's always a fat. Alright, it acts like an interface to other operating systems such as Microsoft and the likes. Okay, so you can see that boot EFI, then the partition ID is EFI file system partition. These are what you should follow. Alright, you can see there are others. Then you have Linux wrap and all that. NPFS. EFI is usually the file system. EFI system partition. So after that, you can enter your password again. Ensure it's the same like the one you typed in previously. So you will have to have issues with the passwords. Alright, so we're making progress now. So far so good. We have the primary at 80 gigabyte, the extended as 10 gigabyte, the logical partition for the swap as 1.9, and of course we just created the logical EFI as 4 gigabytes. So the next thing we want to do now is we just create another logical and maybe call this a logical CSV and data partition. Okay, so that's it. The data and ISV applications. Look at the file system now. The file system for this particular type of logical drive changes. This is XFS compared to others. And then the mount point is home. You can as well encrypt. It is similar password, the same password, not just similar. So you don't have to forget, and you don't have multiple passwords controlling multiple partitions. So far so good. We have this set of partition table. You can see there the total is 149.05. Then we have the primary drive, which is 80. Then we have the extended partition, logical partition, which is 10 gigabytes. Then we have the logical partition for swap, which is 1.9. Then we have the EFI, that's the EFI there. And we are allocating those 4 gigabytes to that specific partition. And finally, we have the logical, another logical drive for data and ISV applications. I think that should do, and the resolution should begin now. This is the active summary of what we're doing. We're deleting the existing partition of the system and we modified it as we've previously said, and that's what we're going to build this system on, this operating system on. So down there you can see the active summary like we previously mentioned. So with this we can now select our location, select your location based on the map. Then enter your username and password, and I think this should be consistent with the previous password you entered. You could make it different, but I strongly recommend that it should be the same password. Okay, let me take a very brief interlude here and bring your attention to this error. You might encounter this error when you are installing OpenSuse 15.0 Leap 15.4. Alright, so the error is stating that it's relating to the firewall. Okay, it's a warning from the last two, the one I spoke about earlier. He said that it's talking about installing, or you're going to be given two options clearly. The first one is do not install firewall. Okay, no arch. The second one is break firewall 0.93 blah 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 blah. Okay, now what you will do here is that simply select break the firewall live no arch by ignoring some of its dependencies. This is just a temporary solution to this error so that you can continue with the installation process. Alright, once you're done and you update, do the normal sudo zipper update, this should clear this issue of the dependency. Alright, so just for you to take note of this. Now, this is the active summary of what we're about to do, and you can see there that it's saying something just beneath the software label. It says cannot solve the dependencies automatically, manual intervention is required. So because there is something that we need to select, an option we need to select to ensure that the solution process goes on smoothly. Now it says the proposed two error. It says the proposed contains an error that must be resolved before continuing. And that's what you're trying to track down. Okay, this is it. So this is the error. It says the information required, say confirm installation. It's saying that information required for the base installation is now complete. You can continue now. Partitions in your hard drive will be modified according to the installation settings in the previous dialog. What we should understand here is that ensure that if you encounter some kind of options, there are some things you can skip. Alright, you can skip some things that are perhaps needed with the internet, because there's some files that need to be connected. Since it's not, if you're doing an offline installation, you can skip some of these things and proceed with the installation, so that after the installation you can connect and update the system, all right, via the privileged super user administrator mode. All right, so now we are starting the installation, and the installation is running as we have proposed. Okay, so the installation is now complete. You can see now that YAST 2, that same YAST that I spoke about earlier, is the one giving us the indicator for the completion of the installation process and the prompt for rebooting the system to the new operating system. Now this is the reboot, and you can see this is the grub. This is how the grub, the OpenSuse grub, looks like. You can see the Leap 15.4, then the start booter from read only, then of course you can see the advanced options for OpenSuse. It's always the first one that you should choose so the system can load itself up. Alright, so this is the operating system on first run. This is how it looks like. OpenSuse, ahoy, this is OpenSuse. It has rich documentation online. You can always read to get yourself familiar. And these are some of the programs on the system. You can see contacts, weather, clocks, maps, photos, videos, calculator, text editor, document scan, settings, and so on and so forth. Linux is so enriched with so many programs, pre-built programs that you don't need to purchase or procure, in the process. These are some of the folders that you have within the system. Now this is the terminal where you run commands. Uname gives you the breakdown of the name, and hostname CTL gives you a breakdown of what the system looks like. Though just the active summary, you can see this as the active summary of the system. Static host name, transient host name, the icon name, the chassis, the machine ID, the boot ID, the operating system. Alright, these are very useful information. Then one of the most important here is the kernel. You can see the kernel. The kernel there reads 5.1.4.21. It's lower than the one in the Linux and the Debian, but this is one of the most important things that makes you know if the system might need to be updated. So if that kernel is less than what is existing, then we need to really use something. Alright, so this is the system in real time. Alright, this is how it looks like. You can see how you can call up the command prompt there, and perhaps run in clarity the commands for identifying a system. This is just what we ran at the other side. Alright, you can see the Linux kernel there as well is 5.1421. Now look at the update there. You can see it's to run an update, you write sudo, that's the super user command, zipper update. Then you supply the password, the same password you created while installing the system. Sudo zipper update. Okay, in the first instance, you discover that there was a program interrupting it from doing an update, but now the update has started. It's hitting on all the repositories in the sources list. Now, most of these Linux operating systems, they have a source list where they get their updates from.
Audio Jungle. 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 Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.